When working with the CNC machine, especially when you're cutting like MDF board, there's a lot of dust, and that's the first thing that you'll realize if you're using one of these machines. If you used a regular router at all, you know the kind of dust it kicks up. Well, this is an automated machine, so there's a lot more dust even than that. Anyway, this dust shoe picks it up, sends it through that vacuum hose, and if you follow my vacuum hose down and around, you can see it's tied into this Craftsman vacuum cleaner here on the floor. Anyway, this works out, but let's open it up and I'll show you the problem. So this is the filter here, and you can see that the filter is completely covered with MDF dust, and it just cuts the suction off completely. And this thing can't breathe. What a mess. Anyway, if you're cutting MDF board or any kind of wood with fine particles, this is a problem. And you know, your vacuum quits picking up after it gets full. So what I plan to do is make a bagless vacuum that works with a Cyclone, kind of like a Dyson vacuum. And I found the plans that I can make my own, so I'll show you that, and let's see if we can fix this problem. Yeah, that's not going to pick up anything. Well, I brought up Wikipedia and I typed in cyclone separation, and you can see a diagram here of how it works and how it creates a vortex of rotational air so that the dirt will fall down through and then the clean air is pumped out through. If you've used a Dyson vacuum, you know it works baglessly, and most vacuums today are made bagless, but it seems that the more expensive ones work even better. And there's good reason for this. There's a lot of research that's involved in making a perfect cyclone, and you can see some of these math formulas here to determine what the perfect vortex would be to work for your particular project. Anyway, if you come to Amazon, you can see that you can buy ready-made cyclones. Here's a 6-inch here for $2.35. These are larger ones, or you can get a smaller one like I'm making. Here's one for $170. And you know, you can buy one, but I thought about making one out of just things that I could find at the hardware store, and in fact I had the plans to do that, but then I got this 3D printer and I thought I'll type in Cyclone Separator, and I did, and here's Thingiverse, and this is one of many that I found, so this will be the design that I follow, and all the credit goes to this guy here, ASE4542, and I'll put a link in the description. But out of all the different designs that I've seen, this seemed the best to me, and I read down through his description, and he followed calculation sheets to actually come up with this design, and it seemed fairly well put together. And even though it's not the most popular, I believe this to probably be one of the better designs. So this is going to be the one I make. So I went ahead and downloaded the files, and I'm going to go ahead and print it in Cura. This is Cura here, and these are the pieces. So we're going to get busy. Now these pieces are going to take a while because there's a lot of plastic here, and I'm going to print it on fine quality. So let's get started. I've got 3 pieces to make, and then we got to assemble. So let's get started with that. Take a look at this crazy piece for the Cyclone. It's got the built-in like ramp, you know, for the Cyclone action. Pretty crazy. I thought I would show it before it seals that part up, because really you wouldn't normally see this inside it. But pretty neat. Well, it's coming along nicely. Pretty soon the pipe there is going to be covered up with the ramp. And it's pretty impressive how this thing can print the ramp with no support in the center. It's just kind of hanging there in midair. But you know, the way it adds it on there, it kind of is self-supporting, so it's pretty neat. Anyway, still have about halfway to go, so we're just waiting. We have 2 more pieces to print after this. Well, you can see the ramp has made almost another round, and we're about 2/3 the way there for this part, so it's getting there slow but sure. But look at that ramp just kind of floating there. It's kind of neat. Alright, so that's the worst part about 3D printing, is just waiting. But really you don't have to look at it, but there's something about it that makes you want to look, even though I don't know why. Alright, I'll be back when it's much closer. It's starting to look like a part though. Well, there it is at 90%. We're almost done. And as soon as the ramp there moves around to the front, it will be complete. And I thought I'd show it now before that part's completely closed up. So this piece is taking quite a while, but hopefully it'll be worth it. So anyway, next time you see this piece, it should be done and printed. Okay, well, I'm starting the cone part, and that'll be part number 2. There's 3 parts in all. So this cone is also a pretty large part, and I expect it to take probably around 10 hours or so. So this is the first of it, and this is actually the base plate that will mount to the bucket. You can see the 4 screw holes there, and up from the circle in the center will shoot up a cone to help with the Cyclone. Yes, it's a cone taking shape. A little less than halfway there for this piece. It's all about the cone. Good looking cone, huh? Coming right along. Looks like a goblet. Or how about a megaphone? All done. Okay, we're getting ready to print the last piece here. The bed's almost heated up, and this will be the middle section that is like a pole that goes through the thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at these 3 pieces that we made for the Cyclone separator. And this is the cone, and this will actually be attached to the bucket. I've got my bucket here. It's a 5-gallon pail. Let me just go ahead and grab the lid and show you. So you can see I've got the mounting holes here. And so I'm gonna have to cut a hole in that, and I'll use some silicone sealant to, you know, attach this and put some nuts and bolts. And then this pipe goes inside this part, and this is the part that gets it spinning, and you can see the ramp, if you will, and this has to fit down in here. So this will be the inlet. The dirty air goes in here, and then the vacuum will be pumping on this. And what happens is this will pump from the bottom under here, and it will cause a vacuum, and it will start swirling, and then the dirty the dirt will continue on the way through. So I just need to carefully put this in. And this piece is a little bit rough. You know, 3D printing makes these little steps, these levels, if you will. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and assemble this, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to treat this with a vapor of acetone. I haven't done that before, but I think this would be a good project for that. Okay, so there's our tube. That fits in nice. You can see how it terminates there. And then this piece will fit on there. I'll have to glue that with probably super glue, and then I'll also use some silicone sealant probably. So that's how it's going to look, just like that. And then the you know, your normal vacuum hose will connect on here and here. Actually, your vacuum will connect here, and the CNC for the pickup will go here. And that's how it should work. So we'll go ahead and get a hole in this bucket, and then we'll figure out how we're going to go ahead and vaporize these after we connect them together. I'm going to attempt to glue this thing together. Wish me luck. This is super glue gel. Now I've got a clamp here, but I'm afraid to clamp it. I don't want to break it. I think I'm just going to tape it. All right, we'll let that dry, and then I'll take the tape off and maybe run some along the outside and then let it dry again. So I glued it together, and I put a little weight on the top of it, and we'll see how that holds. That's super glue gel. Okay guys, I got a plan. I want to take some acetone and use the vapor and try to smooth out this piece here. And I care mostly about the inside. I think it would be nice to have it nice and smooth. You know, the 3D printer leaves a little bit of ridge there. So I've heard that you can use acetone, and you can actually just use the vapor from it. So I'm going to go ahead and try it on this piece. And what I'm going to do, I've got it hanging in this box with a piece of wire. I'm going to take this plate and a rag and soak the rag with acetone, put it underneath there like that, and close up the box, and then leave it and see what happens. So let me go ahead and get this saturated, and we'll try it out. It's the first time I've done this, so I don't know what to expect. Now, I have taken acetone in the past and just painted pieces with it, and it does work, but it's hard to control, so maybe the vapor will be easier. Start with that. That's what this is. Alright, let's give it a try. Alright. Got it in the box. I'm just going to use a little bit of duct tape on it. Close this up. And we wait. We'll give it 20 minutes and take a peek. It'll probably take more than that, but so I'm going to close off this room, and no sparks in here. Alright, well, I can smell it. It's not terribly strong, but it will be as soon as I open it. It's been about 20 minutes, and I have no idea how long this takes. I know you can do this with heat too, but I don't like heat and acetone. I don't think that's a good idea. So anyway, well, I can't visibly see any difference yet, but I'm going to get a tight shot of it here so we can see the difference later perhaps. Let's zoom in here. Don't really notice anything right now, so we'll just close her back up. And I'll go ahead and reset the timer. Okay, it's been quite a few hours. I think I'm going to check it again here. So yeah, it's definitely smoothed out. It's not as smooth as I thought it would be though. Looks like the top's more smoothed out. Wondering if I should turn it around. Yeah. I'll leave it in there a little bit more. Well, it sat in there about 4 hours, and I really didn't notice much of a difference, to be quite honest. On the very end, it looked like it was starting to do better, but we'll have to explore this again in the future. I really don't want to sacrifice the quality of this print. It just took too long, so we'll experiment with some other stuff in the future, but so far it didn't work well for me. So this lid was just a little bit too big for my drill press. That was easy. So it's time to put this together, and I want to use some silicone sealant on this part. And so I gotta tear this open because this thing's dried. But there's some good stuff inside it, so I just ripped it open so I can get to it. I think it's important to have a pretty good seal, so I get as much vacuum as possible to make that vortex for the Cyclone. A little bit more. Okay, so I've got some 1024 bolts here that I'm going to be using. And I've already checked out the hole, and it makes sense here. So then on the bottom, I found these nylon lock nuts, so I'm going to be using those. That way there'll be no chance of this thing vibrating apart. It's kind of like an acorn-shaped nut that has a nylon insert that acts like a washer. Uh-oh, I only see 3 of them here. Oh, there's another one. So, got those on there. And I'll put a nut driver on this side here. Or I mean, this is for an airplane, actually, for inserting spark plugs. But it works great for other projects, too. Grab a hold of that. Nope, I'm gonna have to get a different screwdriver for that. All hooked up and ready to go. What I did is I cut the hose that normally went to the vacuum cleaner and I inserted it into the side port of my new Cyclone, and then the other side goes up and to the vacuum. And if all goes well, this will dump the sawdust and other debris into that bucket, and nothing should end up in the vacuum. And I may be able to run the vacuum without a filter. I'm not sure. That'll give me a little more pulling power, but for now I'm going to leave it on. Anyway, let's go ahead and give it a test and suck up some sawdust, and then we'll see if it goes in the bucket and what happens to our vacuum. Let's try that now. So I definitely have to get some better clamps for here because I notice I'm losing a lot of suction. Anyway, look at that. So it works out well. So I'll leave links in the descriptions so you can make your own. And keep in mind, if you don't have a 3D printer, you can still make one of these devices out of things that you can find at the hardware store. So thanks for watching. I hope you got some use out of this video. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.